Hello, welcome. This is Chain with simple cryptocurrency news, and today it's Christmas Eve, so we're finally preparing for a great Christmas, with a lot of presents, spending some time with the family, kind of ignoring crypto for a while, at least for a few days, maybe checking the prices here and there, like I do myself, but not too much focused on it. And yeah, let's see what happens, because this time last year everything was looking so good and green. Now things are green, things are moving upward for the last few days, but yeah, we may see a dip pretty soon. Maybe it'll continue to go up. I don't know. Trading experts say that we may see a $5,000 Bitcoin before the end of the year. So anything is possible. It's all speculation, So let's see how things move, and hopefully in 2019 we're going to see a better market. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be talking about some news that we've got outside of the NEO ecosystem. Then I'm going to talk about the NEO ecosystem news, Switcheo decentralized exchange, have some news for you, then Phantasma, then TheKey, and finally I'm going to talk about NOS. And at the very end of this video I'm going to be announcing a giveaway of when I reach 400 subscribers. Okay, I'm going to be doing two separate giveaways, one for Switcheo tokens and the other one for FTW tokens, which I've been sponsored for quite some time ago. So yes, I'm going to be distributing a certain percentage of the amount that I was sponsored to the viewers, as I promised. Okay, let's get right in. So on coinspeaker.com we've got some news about when to use and when not to use cryptocurrency. Okay, this is just the opinion of a journalist and a crypto enthusiast. She's just sharing her opinion basically, and I just found it quite interesting. So let's look at the advantages. So cost efficiency, right? The first advantage of using cryptocurrencies is highly practical. Digital coins are decentralized and you don't have to pay all those annoying taxes, fees, and transaction costs. Well, it depends, because the transaction cost part is a bit questionable. Again, the taxes, if you're in the United States, you do have to pay taxes. But yes, I mean, there are some advantages, of course, compared to fiat. So yes, of course, pros and cons, like with everything. Then she's talking about faster transactions. So of course, traditional banks, they do keep you waiting for a whole day, whereas with cryptocurrencies, it's a few minutes at most, right? So this is quite good. And also, if you've been following Ontology, for example, they only take 1 second per block, so they process the transactions really fast. So it just shows you that things are getting faster and faster. Then lucrative business opportunities. So of course, cryptocurrencies represent a low investment and high reward business opportunity because they have the potential to grow drastically in a relatively short period. For instance, she's talking about this coin which experienced a 337% rise in just 24 hours in January 2018, when everything was growing, right? Because on the 18th of January we've seen the market crash. So yes, then no inflation. Okay, so they've already mentioned that cryptocurrencies are decentralized, which means that free from government influence. This is a bit questionable again. I think there is a lot of influence in this space, but yeah, basically they're saying is that the government can't influence it in the terms of being. The total supply is 21 million bitcoins, right? So this number is not going to change, okay, when referring to Bitcoin, of course. If we refer to other cryptocurrencies, that can change. We have seen it. We've seen it for Oyster Pearl, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's it, Oyster Pearl. They basically had some specific code in their smart contract where the developers could actually generate more tokens, right? So this isn't great because they could mint extra tokens, sell them on exchanges, and make money from the investors, right? So yeah, not great. So yes, unfortunately this does happen, but with Bitcoin it's not the case. Then security. So cryptocurrencies are based on the blockchain, a technology that builds immutable public ledgers, and no one can change the history of the transactions. Okay, this is the important part here. So there can be no counterfeit attempts, frauds, or identity thefts. The best proof is a simple fact that Bitcoin has never been hacked, right? Besides that, you completely control your funds, since there's no third-party provider to block your account for whatever reasons. And to talk about the 5 disadvantages. Okay, not a widespread technology, so most people have heard of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but not many people have actually invested in them, right? And this is obviously due to the volatility, right? We know that. Then high risk. So on one side, cryptocurrencies give you the opportunity to earn a lot very quickly, but they can also create a high risk environment for investors. The price of Bitcoin and other coins can collapse within minutes, so we've seen that many times. Therefore, you can also lose money in case you don't plan investments carefully. However, this part would lose money, I mean, you only lose when you sell, right? So obviously, if you get in, this is not financial advice, but if you get in, like say, if you think that the $3,000 Bitcoin was pretty much the bottom and you got in, and obviously went to 4,000 and you sold, then you made a profit. If you didn't sell, you still have the Bitcoin, right? If it goes back to 3,000 again, you haven't lost anything. If it goes to 2,500, you haven't lost anything because you still got the Bitcoins, right? So it just to give you an example. So you only lose when you decide to sell. Obviously, if you plan to invest for, I don't know, 2-3 years, and the price goes up significantly, then it is what it is. So you're making a huge profit if you decide to sell then. So this is just to give an example. Okay, high risk, but again, you don't really lose because you lose the value if you compare it to fiat. But if you don't compare it to fiat, then you still own the coins, right? So yeah, the whole purpose for mass adoption is to see coins being used directly in supermarkets. I have actually covered in my last news video, I've covered that a supermarket in Brazil does accept cryptocurrencies as payments. So this just shows you that we're getting this mass adoption being implemented slowly but surely. So yes, then illegal activities, again, this is questionable. We are seeing this with fiat as well. So this doesn't really mean that criminals are using only cryptocurrencies for illegal activities. Of course, you're going to see it happen, like in everything. Then limited scaling. So the blockchain technology is able to process transactions almost instantly, but it doesn't support more than a few transactions simultaneously. For example, Bitcoin allows up to 7 transactions per second, while Visa processes almost 25,000 requests per second. So yes, we may be able to see some changes in this area, because remember, this is still a young market, right? So let's see what happens. It's a new technology, so I'm sure that certain projects will find a way to improve that. Of course, increased regulations, which caused kind of a big crash early this year. So yes, we've seen Korea, we've seen China banning and all these places. So yes, mostly Asia causing problems to the cryptocurrency space. And yeah, this is how it is. And also the United States as well, imposing taxes on trading. Too many cons, too many negative news, which has caused the crash. So all these regulations, if you get too many regulations, of course this is not good for the space. You already know that, but it is what it is. So yes, and then the conclusion here, she's saying that cryptocurrency trading has become extremely popular in the last few years, but so many investors still don't understand this concept in its entirety. The truth is that digital currencies offer users a wide range of benefits, but they also come with a few disadvantages. So yes, of course, this is what it is. Okay, enough about that. Let's talk about Switcheo. So for Christmas, they're offering some tokens, basically, right? So launch of the 5 new language translations. This is what they're saying on day 6, right? This is their latest update for day 6, and I think that we're going to see more updates. I think there's going to be one tomorrow as well, so keep an eye out on their Medium site for the news. So they're saying that they're happy to launch 5 new languages on the Switcheo exchange. Okay, the 5 new languages are Arabic, German, Hindi, Italian, and Russian, and you can choose your preferred language by simply toggling the drop-down list and selecting your preferred language on the top right hand corner. So you can see here in the image, English is selected. Obviously, if you click on the little drop down, you're going to get all the different languages which they're now supporting. Of course, if you speak a different language, for example, Spanish, Portuguese, you can submit it if you want. You can speak with the admins and submit it. And as a special Christmas treat, what they'll do is they're going to reward you with 16,000 Switcheo tokens, which is about $80 worth of Switcheo at the time of doing this video. Okay, so not too bad, not too bad. Now, I'm not sure how many pages of translation we're talking about, but still, it's $80. It's quite good, quite a good amount of money. So yeah, they'll be contacting the translators via email to confirm their NEL wallet address for distribution of the rewards. And they're saying that you should drop a note at translations@switcheo.network. Okay, and they actually need some help for Korean and Japanese translations. Okay, so yeah, if you notice, if you're Korean or Japanese and you notice any errors in their translations, do drop them a note. Okay, because they're looking for feedback. So yes, that's it about Switcheo. Let's keep an eye on them. But now let's talk about Phantasma. So in my last news video, I've actually spoken about Phantasma and Black Cat, right? They've got a partnership, and then they've announced another partnership with NEL. Okay, so Phantasma Chain is proud to announce the partnership with New Econo Labs. and they're going to integrate their dApps, of course, on the Phantasma chain, right? So we know that NEL are kind of working towards blockchain gaming, as are NEO, okay? So yeah, we're going to see a lot of their dApps on Phantasma chain, because I think Phantasma chain, what they're trying to do is they're trying to kind of work together with NEO at the beginning, and of course they'll be open to other dApps from other blockchains, but I think they're going to start off with NEO right at the beginning, just to get some of those dApps in. For example, NEO Name Service are going to deploy their dApp on Phantasma chain as well for the domain names. So yes, this is pretty much what they're saying here. And more news from Phantasma chain. Okay, this actually came out yesterday. I didn't actually cover it yesterday because I haven't done a video, but I just wanted to cover it today. So some of the interesting news that they want to talk about is about their consensus. Okay, so many people thought that Phantasma chain are going to have a proof of stake consensus or a delegated proof of stake, which is the newer version, but their proof of stake system is actually a little bit different. Okay, it's not delegated either. So it works differently, right? Proof of work is, we know, it's about mining, right? So when I did the podcast with TheKey from Phantasma, I asked about the proof of work on one of their sidechains, and they said obviously that they're not going to do it. So yes, they're actually working on proof of stake, a unique type of proof of stake mechanism, which is not delegated proof of stake and is not the standard proof of stake. So it's a little bit different. And so here they talk about it, right? So at Phantasma, we're adopting a variant of proof of stake, SQN the voting part, and instead requiring users who want to be a validator to put a stake in the network, a reward for their contribution, and as a reward for their contribution, a validator receives a share of the transaction fees. The validator consensus nodes for Phantasma, also known as master nodes, use a rotational scheduling per sidechain to define who is the active validator, which divides a fixed amount of time in periods. Since this process occurs in parallel for each sidechain, it allows horizontal scaling, boosting the theoretical transactions per second limit by a huge margin. Each active validator node is then responsible for accepting transactions from the Phantasma users, verifying signature and transaction contents, and in case the transaction is accepted, the validator adds it to the next block. So Phantasma chain supports both public and private chains, and the master node's consensus mechanism only applies to public chains, as any company can decide to run a private chain as they wish. So we have seen this for ontology as well. We're seeing it for Phantasma when they go live in Q1 of 2019. If you're a company, you will be able to run on their private chain. When I say company, I mean a dApp. Okay, when you're a dApp on a different blockchain, you can run on their private chain. And as TheKey mentioned in the podcast I've done with him, he did say that they don't want to clog their main chain, okay, their main chain on Phantasma. They want to use the private chain or the side chain for people to deploy their dApps on there, okay? So yes, they're saying here that the private chains are connected to all other chains, but they use any consensus mechanism that they want. Okay, so this is the interesting part. Okay, this is not restricting it. So block generation. Once a block is proposed, the majority of the validators must accept it in order to have it included in the on-chain. If an active validator proposes an invalid block or does not propose a block at all, other validator nodes can step in and slash the active validator, which is then punished. This is the same mechanism that punishes master nodes who do not comply with the required rule of being online 24/7. So yeah, then they're talking about the advantages of the Phantasma proof of stake mechanism, which includes some mechanisms in place to prevent block reorganizations and avoid nothing at stake problem by using signed checkpoints, which can be used as collateral for validators' misbehavior. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this means. I actually need to check with TheKey just to clarify this for me, and I'll probably cover it in a future video because this is too technical and it's specific to the blockchain. So yes, I need to understand a little bit what that means. So this provides a fast finality for blockchain transactions, allowing users to wait at most a few seconds to have a guaranteed finality. Another good advantage of the consensus used in Phantasma is that splitting the chain into forks, like in the controversial case of Bitcoin, is not possible in practice due to requiring at least a majority of the active validators to hand over their private keys, which would also give access to their stake funds. So it looks like there'll be no forking in Phantasma chain, right? So this is good. This is a good sign. So yeah, I do need to check out this information just to clarify it a bit, because I think they went a bit too technical here. It's not very clear on how exactly it would work. I think it would be nice if you could see a diagram of exactly how this would work. But I'm guessing we'll have more information pretty soon, and if we don't, then I'll try and put together a diagram to present it in a future video so that it can be better understood. finally, let's talk about TheKey. Okay, so on the NEO News Today website, like I promised, I'm going to be covering the NEO ecosystem news too in every video that I do. So TheKey recaps on AMA regarding the mainnet progress. So we knew that TheKey are going to stay on the NEO blockchain, right? They initially wanted to migrate from NEO to their own key blockchain. However, they decided to stay on NEO. But here in this AMA, when I was reading through it, right, this is provided by the CEO, by Catherine. Okay, so here she says, let me go down and look for it. So here she says that they're actually going to be moving to their own blockchain again in the future, which is quite interesting because we thought that they're going to stay on NEO, right? So let me look for that part here so that I can share it with you. Of course, you can read through this article yourself, but I just wanted to cover it in this video. Okay, this is talking about start plan. Okay, yeah, here it is. So more general questions were asked about TheKey scalability and how it intends to fully accommodate the Chinese market, and the platform is currently using NEO for MVP purposes and stated that it will start planning to build its own public chain, okay, in the not so distant future. Also, TheKey will consider a meeting with a government-backed or MB stablecoin if one comes to fruition for government contracts. And here I just wanted to bring something else up, which is very, very important. Okay, so they're currently in discussion with the central bank for a solution to enable the Chinese citizens to participate in the ecosystem. Okay, this is another important part of the news. But another one, let me see if I can get it. Okay, so this is the pilot program. The pilot program in Guizhou province intends to establish a working system for the identity verification services for social insurance. The government will reportedly review the results of the pilot on June 30th, 2019. Okay, so that's at the end of Q2 of 2019, and then BDMI will be deployed all over China, right? This is the big news. This is the huge news here. Because if they get approved, if the government approves TheKey, okay, we know that they're already in talks with the government and they received a lot of rewards and the government is looking into it. But if they get approved on June 30th, 2019, that's when this is going to be deployed all over China. So this is going to be a huge year for TheKey. Hence why we've seen some price growth of TheKey when they posted this news, right? Because, you know, people are preparing for it. In case things go well, you can imagine that the price is just going to explode, okay? Because the technology is going to be used. I have mentioned it in a previous video where I was saying that if the social security system in China starts using TheKey and TheKey token is integrated, right, this is when we're going to see huge increase for TheKey. Again, this is not financial advice. This is my personal opinion based on the news we're seeing, right? Because we're talking about mass adoption in China, a country with a huge population. And actually, I wanted to talk about something else as well, because they're talking about TheKey token. Okay, so here it is. So a question was also asked about the role of TheKey token in its ecosystem and how it will be used to facilitate transactions between public enterprises such as hospitals and insurance companies. Lee noted that TheKey is the only method to settle smart contracts signed between the participants in TheKey ecosystem. As such, providers can choose to buy the tokens from exchanges, right? This is the key here. This will pump the price, or accept them in exchange for services. Lee also claimed that public companies have an incentive to purchase TKYs in advance in order to cover the costs of the identity verification services, which in turn can significantly reduce the cost of insurance, underwriting, and claim settlement. Okay, so this is great because if the Chinese decide to buy TheKey on exchanges early, right, to prepare for the use case, because it's going to be integrated in the social security system, then we may see actually a boost in price. Of course, this is all dependent on the Chinese government. If they approve it, then we'll see huge gains. If not, then we're going to see a drop, a huge drop. But I think that they're working really hard to make sure that this gets approved. Again, this is not financial advice, but let's see what happens. I'm going to keep a close eye on the progress of TheKey, and I'll let you guys know if there's going to be any negative side or positive news, right? So let's see. We're hoping for positive news as always. And finally, I want to talk about NOS, right? So NOS are releasing a holding dashboard and proof of address token utilities. So basically what they're saying here is the holding dashboard is if you maintain your NOS balance there, right, you'll be actively rewarded with assorted platform benefits. So they're saying here that to gain the holding benefits, users require a NOS.app account with a verified address and at least 1000 NOS tokens. Each Sunday, the holding becomes equal to the lowest NOS balance that the user had at the verified address in the previous 7 days. If this quantity is maintained or increased each week, the value is multiplied, starting at 1.1x and capping at twice the actual number of tokens held. The holding number will influence various platform benefits and correlates to a user's vote weight. If the held amount is reduced, the holding number is reset to 0 until the next holding cycle in a week's time. Holding a requisite amount of NOS may be required to unlock featured promotions, rewards, and income from the platform fees. A threshold of NOS will also be required to vote on future platform features and network fees. Additional benefits and interactions for NOS holders are due to be rolled out in the future. So this is great, right? This is absolutely great because we're seeing more of these companies, more of these projects, especially on the NEO blockchain and also on Ontology. Now we're seeing Ontology doing it with the node staking authorization. And we're seeing this with NOS now as well. Many of these projects want to basically reward users, reward holders. If you hold the coin or the token, you're going to be rewarded because you hold, you hope, and then nothing happens, especially with this market when the price doesn't really grow. Of course, we have seen growth in the last few days, but in general, we're not seeing too much growth, right? So yes, it just shows you here. And also there's a diagram which says you need at least one NOS in your account to continue if you want to verify your NOS address. This is talking about the proof of address, right? Proof of address is a utility which is used to verify ownership of a user's NOS address, and the tool was designed to circumvent the security risks of depositing funds into a wallet address controlled by third party, which is a common practice with applications that integrate with cryptocurrencies. Now, proof of address removes this layer of centralization by allowing users to verify their deposit addresses. Okay, so you can verify your deposit address, as you can see here. Which is great. And this feature can be easily integrated into any application via the NOS API, and the NOS apps may use any NEO-based token to verify an address, with future support planned for Ethereum and its ERC20 token standard. So yes, and also if developers are interested to create their own proof of address tool, it's in the process of being released at the moment. Okay, so keep an eye out on that. Cool, that's all the news for today. And finally, I just want to say that when I reach 400 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away 1000 Switcheo tokens to 5 lucky winners and 300 FTWX tokens, as they call them on the Switcheo DEX, okay, or FTX. Okay, FTX tokens, which they're called on the if you check on the NEO blockchain on the NEO tracker website. And yes, I'm going to be giving away 300 FTX and 1000 Switcheo. So 1000 Switcheo to 5 lucky people and 300 FTX to 6 lucky people, which means that you're going to get 50 FTX each, and you're going to get 200 Switcheo tokens, right? So 200 Switcheo tokens to 5 lucky people and 50 FTX to 6 lucky people. All you have to do is leave a comment below this video and just tell me what is your favorite project and why, right? This is all I'm interested in. I'm just curious, what is your favorite project and why is it your favorite project, right? So it can be on any blockchain. It doesn't have to be on the NEO blockchain. It doesn't have to be on Ontology. Any blockchain. I'm just curious, what is your favorite project? That's all. And once you leave me that and your NEO address as well below, I'll do a random YouTube comment picker, okay, in my next video. And of course, once I reach 400 subscribers, in my next video, once I pick you, then I'm gonna let you know, and I'm gonna do the transfer straight after that, okay, as I did in my last giveaways. So that's all I wanted to say for today. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and like I said, please don't forget to leave a comment below so you can be entered in this draw that I'm gonna do for 1000 Switcheo tokens and 300 FTX. Have a lovely day, take care, and goodbye.